Okay, so this video is gonna be about some yoga postures I like to do to help assist my Neigong progression, right? So yoga and certain other type of stretching exercises aren't a necessity for Neigong, but it can help to assist your progress over time. Just for the simple fact, it's helping to keep the body opened up. It's helping to strengthen blood flow somewhat. It's not as good as cardiovascular exercises like jogging, jumping jacks, stuff like that. Stuff that gets the heart really pumping strongly. Yoga has the tendency to lower the heart rate during practice rather than significantly increase the heart rate like many other cardiovascular exercises may do. So I typically do like a cardio warm-up before I do my yoga. It just basically helps to loosen up the body, and then I do my cardio and I do like strength building exercises before my yoga, and then I follow it with the yoga, which helps to basically open up the body more and it relaxes the muscles. So after I do anything that's like if I like train my body to failure, for instance, and my arms are feeling like really sore, I follow the strength building exercises with yoga, and it like gives my body a clean slate. Basically, it's very helpful, honestly. So if you do any type of bodybuilding, I would definitely recommend to follow it with a yoga practice. So yoga after strength building and not before strength building. So today, kind of what I wanted to show is just a couple of exercises that I like to do essentially to help strengthen the core. I feel like this is very helpful for cultivating the Dantian function with certain Neigong practices. So one exercise I like to do is, now this is gonna be semi-advanced, and I say semi-advanced because if you see advanced yoga, you'll be like, yeah, that's like advanced. But what I'm about to do, most people will consider advanced, but I consider it intermediate, I guess, because I've just been doing it so long. But there's yoga postures that I'm not able to do, which I would consider advanced. So I guess in another practitioner's eyes, it might be super advanced, the stuff that I just consider as advanced. And what I'm gonna do now, I just consider intermediate. So this isn't recommended if your body isn't open enough to do it. Maybe I should have started showing beginner exercises first. I guess some following videos I will show beginner exercises, but if you're able to sit in full lotus without any pain, then these two exercises that I'm going to show will help to develop the core even further. If you cannot sit in full lotus without pain, please do not do this. Please. I might start a series actually where I'm guiding you on how to achieve full lotus. Originally, it took me 7 months of consistent practice to achieve full lotus, and I was only able to sit in full lotus for maybe half a second or 1 second when I first achieved it after 7 months. So it's arduous training to get to that stage, but once you're there, it becomes more comfortable once you're able to expand how long you're able to sit in lotus. So I went from 1 second being able to sit for a couple hours after some very arduous training and lots of stretching and stuff like that. But this first posture is called Utita padmasana, or translated into English, or is also called tadasana, scale pose. Utita padmasana, I have no clue what Utita mean. But padmasana is basically lotus pose, which is this here. This is lotus pose. And Utita padmasana would just be a balancing pose on the arms. Now, if you notice when you do this, the core is engaged significantly. So the core is engaged significantly during that balance. This area here just has this, like it just becomes super contracted. Now, when you're breathing, you want to utilize the breathing that I taught in a prior video. I think about 3 videos ago. How to breathe properly or something like that. But basically, you need to breathe into the lower abdomen. So any type of yoga I do, I am strictly breathing down here. It doesn't matter how tense my core gets and how hard the breathing becomes. All it's doing is helping you to build those muscles and those channels to help that breath flow down even better, you know, when you're not in such a constricted posture. I don't know if constricted is the right term. When you're not in such a tense posture, I should say, I guess. But the muscles constrict significantly and the breathing becomes very hard to do. So for a normal person, right, it's already like hard for them to, quote unquote, it's hard for them to bring the breath down here just in a regular, like if they're just sitting just like this and they just try to breathe down here, it takes a lot of effort, and it's still hard for them to do it without without even the chest moving. So you want to be able to breathe where only the lower abdomen is moving. The air fills the lower abdomen and the air empties from the lower abdomen. You don't want anything happening here. You just want the air to pass through here, but you don't want the air to go to here. That's the key with the abdominal breathing. So I like to do padmasana with both sides, full lotus with both sides, just to balance out the hips. But it should be the same in lotus. Now, one key thing that I did notice about full lotus is it becomes a little more effortless to do abdominal breathing while you're sitting in full lotus. So it honestly doesn't really take any conscious effort for me to abdominal breathe at this point, because I've been doing it for 14 years, of course. But when I sit in full lotus, I notice the air just fills that area effortlessly. Like it just goes straight there. Like I don't really have to try. So lotus kind of guides it there. But when you do the Utita padmasana or the tadasana or scale pose, this full lotus hand balance, now you have to actually force the breath down. And a key to that is relaxing the whole body. And just focusing on the lower abdomen. This just absolutely fires up the core. I mean, I can feel the blood flowing from that, you know. Strengthens the arms, of course. Strengthens the wrists, forearms, a little bit of the biceps and triceps. But most of the activation I feel is here. Like I feel so much heat pouring off of my core right now. Literally, like my stomach is hot. So just engages the abdominal muscles so much that this is like absolutely beneficial for Neigong, in my honest opinion. All right. Now we have a second pose that I want to show that is slightly more advanced. And this one, I absolutely recommend that you do not do this unless you're able to sit in lotus comfortably. Like, please, I beg you, do not do this unless you're able to sit comfortably. Like right now, when I'm sitting, no pain. I can sit like this for hours, right? No pain. But not only that, but my blood flow is decent. My legs won't go limp or numb or anything like that anytime soon, because I have a suitable amount of flexibility in my legs that allows basically the blood to keep flowing and, like, you know, blood vessels to not get cut off basically too early on. So please, one person didn't listen to me and he almost screwed himself up. I told him, like, I was just showing it to him, and I said, please do not do this. People see you do it and they still go and do it and they screw themselves up. Like, this is steps of progression to get to certain things. This right here is significantly more advanced lotus posture than any other lotus posture I know, honestly. So this one is called padma tadasana, or lotus tree pose, or it's also called Garakshasana, and it's named after an older yogi. So in padma tadasana, or the lotus tree pose, essentially the goal is to stand. So starting out, you might want to start like this, and then the goal is to basically be able to lift the hands and stand in full lotus, right? That's the goal. The challenges are the amount of pain it causes in the knees and the beginning stages. So like if you're doing it on carpet or something, and honestly, if you don't have pants on, you will notice that you're going to start getting carpet burn. You definitely don't want to practice this on a hard surface in the beginning. You want to do this after you've been practicing the padma tadasana for months. You know, you want the knees to become much more developed than what they currently are, and then eventually you will be able to stand. Like, I don't need any material to cover my knees, and I can do this on cement, wood, marble. I've stood like that for 5 minutes on marble, which is like it's hard, you know. But once you're at that level, it's just a matter of standing, you know, testing how long you can stand, you know, testing your stamina after that. But essentially, this is a balanced posture that helps to strengthen the legs. And I feel like this is super beneficial for Neigong, this specific posture, because the challenge it has on the balance, the amount of opening that occurs in the lower spine, and just the abdominal area in general. This is the abdominal and all these organs in that area is being challenged significantly as well. Well, not challenged, but the abdomen is being engaged significantly. The thighs will be challenged. So you're gonna feel a strong burn. When I first started this practice, I wasn't aware of anybody doing it. I thought I actually invented it, but years down the line, I started seeing people here and there doing it. That's how I found out what the name was. But I've seen just a handful of people doing it after I learned how to do it myself. So I was self-taught. I didn't see anyone doing it. So I kept it a secret for a while because I didn't realize others were doing it. But once I saw others are doing it, then I was like, okay, so I guess it's okay to share this. So the way I go about it, because I'm a little more advanced, of course. since I've been doing it for maybe 8 years minimum. So this is padma tadasana, and you'll see the amount of movement that happens during this exercise because it's challenging your balance. And what I noticed in the beginning stages is that your fast twitch muscles become like really activated. So for some reason, when you're balancing on your knees like that, it just activates the fast twitch muscles, and you're just, you're all over. But you get to the point basically where the nervous system starts to calm down. Utilize your abdominal breathing. It challenges the core, it challenges the thigh muscles, it challenges the glutes. All of this is engaged. But you get to a point where the twitching starts to calm down, and you start becoming more relaxed. The hips open up, the spine lengthens. You will feel some pain in the knees, but after some time, the bones become denser. The fibers surrounding the kneecaps become stronger, and that pain is not as prevalent as it is in the beginning phase. Now, I can honestly stand like this for 5, maybe even 10 minutes. I know I can do it for 5 minutes. I've done it on marble, and I'm on carpet right now, so this is an easier balance for me. But the challenge originally was so significant to the body that when I would hold this posture, I would go from not doing anything. I can just be sitting down, and I'll be like, hey, let me try out the padma tadasana posture, just to help build my core up and whatnot. I can feel heat pouring off as well from this. But I would do this posture, and essentially within 5 seconds of me going from not having done anything for the whole day to me just folding my legs and standing in this posture, my body would become absolutely drenched in sweat. This posture generates so much heat in the body, and it's really challenging. And I used to show it to people, and I would tell them, like, watch when I do this posture. Within 5 seconds, I'm going to be absolutely pouring sweat, and the body starts to adapt to the intensity of the exercise, of course, and it goes away. But I just take that as a testament to how ramped up the blood flow becomes. So if you have like high blood pressure issues and stuff like that as well, you might want to be careful with this posture. But this definitely enhances blood flow, strengthens everything in this vicinity. So everything in this vicinity, from the glutes to the kneecap, is being strengthened. That's the main challenge, and then the abdominal area is being worked out as well. I tell people, like, you can't see my six-pack on a regular. Like if I pull up my shirt, you don't see a six-pack, right? I eat a lot, so you won't see my six-pack. But the moment I start doing postures like this, or the Utita padmasana, stuff like that, next you know, that's all you see is a six-pack. So it's under there, definitely. It's under all that fat. But like I said, you wanna balance it out on both sides when you do it. So for a beginner, you wanna start by leaning like this, and then kind of pick your limbs up like that. And at first you might have to lean forward like this. You probably won't be able to just stand upright. All right, so the body has to open up. It has to open up to this stuff. Open up and strengthen. And then eventually, once you're more advanced, you just go straight into it. like that. And I'm still using my arms as a balance tool, but now I'm holding a mudra as I do it. Maintaining the abdominal breathing, of course. So that's just a couple of the postures I wanted to go over with you guys. I guess here's a fun one to throw in. This is another challenge that I enjoy doing. You know, it helps to, I feel like it's a nice exercise similar to a handstand, but you're not upside down, so it's certain other muscles are being challenged that aren't being challenged during the handstand as well. So, you know, when you're walking in the Utita padmasana, you probably won't be able to start. You probably won't even be able to lift your hand when you first started, but just start like that. Eventually, you work your way to where you can walk, and then you work your way to where you can hop. All right, so I got a little light sweat. Can't really see it, but that's just what I want to share with you guys today. Hope all is well. And like I said, this is for more advanced folk who have opened bodies already. I'll start giving a nice little series showing other beginner exercises that can also help to assist Neigong progression. Just exercises that, you know, challenge the core, get blood flowing, and basically help to open the body. That's a key, honestly. If you notice, like when these doctors, when they do the pulse reading, when the doctors do pulse reading and stuff, they're trying to determine how open blood vessels are, how good blood flow is, good your chi flow is. If your blood flow is good, your chi flow is more than likely to be good as well. So you want exercises that will open up the body in that sense, you know, getting rid of blood clotting, keeping the blood vessels clean, the arteries clean, and stuff like that. You just want to have a clean slate through the body. You don't want to have any toxins impeding the path of anything. You know, you don't want to have mucus impeding the path of airflow. You don't want to have toxins in the arteries impeding the path of blood flow, you know, stuff like that. So yoga will help with that. Cardiovascular exercises will help with that as well. Some exercises will help more than others. So these two exercises I feel like have contributed significantly to my Neigong progression. Although they aren't a necessity, it helps. All right, see you guys in the next one.